What if the kindest person you knew was also the most dangerous? That's exactly what we're diving into today with the sophisticated long-term fraud known as the good neighbor ruse. Now, this isn't your typical quick and dirty scam. Oh no, this is a slow burn. It's a long-term performance where the con artist's greatest weapon is the trust they so carefully built. They literally become a pillar of the community, all with the secret plan to bring the whole thing crashing down. And this is what makes it so deeply unsettling. The whole brutal idea is captured right here. Their own goodwill is used as the weapon against them. This crime takes a community's greatest strength, its kindness, and turns it into its biggest weakness. So, to really get how this works, we need to look at the playbook. We're going to follow a fictional con artist, we'll call him Arthur Finch, to see exactly how the scheme is built, piece by piece. The whole operation unfolds in four pretty distinct phases. You've got the infiltration, the grift, the disappearance, and of course, the betrayal. By breaking it down like this, you'll see the chilling patience and logic it takes to pull something like this off. All right, phase one, infiltration. This is where the foundation for the entire con is laid, brick by meticulous brick. This is all about crafting the persona of the perfect neighbor. Arthur's strategy is incredibly methodical. First, he just moves in and observes. He learns the landscape. Then, he starts what you could call performative virtue, really visible acts of kindness. The end goal? To become the undisputed moral compass of the entire neighborhood. And you gotta understand, none of this is random. These acts are intentionally public, they're memorable, and they're specifically designed to be talked about. Every good deed is an investment, you know? It's like he's building up a currency of trust that he fully plans to cash in later. And this takes an incredible amount of patience. We're talking 6, maybe 12 months of just relentless helpfulness. By the end of a year, his reputation is like armor. At that point, questioning Arthur Finch would seem just as crazy as questioning the sunrise. And now, for phase 2, the grift. With that foundation of trust completely solid, the trap is finally ready to be sprung. This is the million-dollar question, right? How do you actually turn all that goodwill into cold, hard cash? The answer is as simple as it is devastating. You invent a crisis. And here's the pivot. All of a sudden, this heart-wrenching tragedy strikes our perfect neighbor. Maybe it's a rare disease, maybe a catastrophe hits his fictional family. The story is a complete lie, but the motive is very, very real. To unleash a tidal wave of sympathy and open up everyone's wallets. The level of detail here is just astounding. He comes prepared with props, forged doctor's letters, fake articles. He even puts on this whole show of modestly refusing help, you know? Oh, no, I couldn't possibly. He knows that'll just make people more determined to give. He never even has to ask for money himself. The community does all the work for him. The result is staggering. We are talking tens of thousands of dollars. People aren't just donating to a stranger. They feel like they're repaying a deep personal debt to the best neighbor they've ever had. So once all that money is collected, the final act begins. Phase 3, the vanishing act. The speed of the exit is just breathtaking. This timeline shows you how ruthlessly efficient the plan is. The day after the funds are liquidated, Arthur Finch is gone. No long goodbyes, no explanation, he just vanishes. And then, in the aftermath, the community is left with the cold, hard truth. The house, just a rental. The illness, no record of it anywhere. And that tragic family he always talked about, a complete invention. Everything was a lie. So let's zoom out for a second. Why on earth is this con so effective? Well, it really comes down to the architecture of the betrayal itself. You can see it all laid out here. There's this clear causal link between the con artist's actions and the community's totally predictable response at every single stage. It's a perfect feedback loop of manipulation, and it's engineered to lead from admiration straight to absolute ruin. And here is the real gut punch. This con isn't successful because it preys on greed or foolishness. It's successful because it preys on the very best parts of our human nature. It weaponizes our desire to trust each other and our deep instinct to help someone in our community who we think is suffering. And this leaves us with a really difficult question, doesn't it? Knowing this kind of betrayal is possible, how do we balance being vigilant with being compassionate? How do we protect your communities without becoming cynical and without closing our hearts to the people who genuinely need our help?